Hi, I'm Dr. William Starsiak. In this video, I want to share with you a few basic principles of stretching. And the reason I'm doing it this way instead of just showing you a bunch of stretches is because if you go online, you can find a ton of videos on stretching, but not as many videos on the principles that you need to follow so that you don't hurt yourself. You know, a lot of people think of yoga as an ultimate good. You know, if I'm doing a yoga position, it must be a good thing for me. But it's actually responsible for a lot of injuries. So following some basic principles is very important. So first, let's talk about efficacy. Not safety, but efficacy. A lot of people wonder, how long do I need to hold a stretch? And there has been a good amount of research done on this topic. And what comes out of it generally is that if you stretch for about 15 seconds, you engage the barrier in the stretch, hold it for 15 seconds, you're going to pretty much maintain the length that you already have. Now, once you start getting over 30 seconds, you're going to actually start to get greater length in that muscle. Its resting tone, it's going to rest with less tone. It's going to have more length because the muscle's not contracted as tightly, but also the fascia is more compliant. And that effect drops off at about 2 minutes. So you'll get your pretty much your maximal effect of what you can do in a stretch session by holding a stretch for 2 minutes. So what that means is if you're already really flexible and you don't want to spend much time, well, take 15 seconds per stretch. But if you're trying to build flexibility, then you need to hold for longer. And it's especially important with these particularly difficult muscle groups to hold for longer. And that's going to be your psoas, the hip flexors, your chest muscles. Those all, you can stretch those all day long because we do so much sitting and we do so much in front of us that shortens those muscles that they can handle a lot more stretching. Now, another principle is how we engage the barrier. So as we go into a stretch, as we begin to hit the end of our normal motion, we begin to feel some discomfort. Now, we don't want to fight against that. This isn't a tug of war. It's kind of like if you were going to slowly push a boat off of a dock. You want to gradually transfer force into that resistance, but just to meet that resistance and gently sit up against it. And this brings us to our next principle, which is to have your awareness internal on how your body feels and your breathing. So this is going to make it so that if you're feeling something kind of off, right, you don't just push through. You listen to it. You accommodate and you adapt if your body's telling you something. If your body's telling you this isn't right, well, you listen to that information because there's wisdom in that information. And when you're sitting up against the barrier, you're paying attention to your breathing the whole time. So when you're up against the barrier of the stretch, you're deepening on exhales. So on inhales, you're holding the position. Then exhales a relaxation phase. The diaphragm relaxes. So during that, you see if you can take the stretch just a little bit further. And then at the very end, it's important to relax and let everything integrate, to let the whole body enter a deep relaxation state so that the extra motion that you've achieved, the extra range and fluidity you've achieved, that it can all integrate together. In yoga, this is called shavasana. And then at the very end, it's good to do something in a vertical position, either sitting or standing, to help it integrate with gravity so that all of the progress that you made can actually then turn into some adjustments in your base posture, the posture you take when you're not thinking about it. So in yoga, this is the meditative part. And meditation is really the best way to retrain our posture because we maintain an ideal posture for a period of time until we're no longer having to effort to maintain it. So then in our daily life, we're much more likely to automatically take that posture, a sort of unconscious competence. So these are the main principles, right? At least 15 seconds to maintain length, up to 2 minutes to lengthen. Don't fight with it, just find the barrier and just sit up against it. On exhales, deepen the stretch. And if you're getting a clue from your body that a position's not right, find a way to modify it. When you're done with all of the stretching, allow yourself to lay down, be in very comfortable, good temperature, so that that new motion can integrate through the whole body, through deep relaxation. And then afterwards, take some time in an upright position to let your mind settle and let the structure integrate there, ideally following your breathing as a form of meditation. All right, and there you have it. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch my video. If you're looking for other helpful tips like this, check out my other videos, subscribe to my channel, and be sure to like this one.